Instrumental in combating the aliens is Michael Biehn, and your work with James Cameron must be becoming a real workout for you. And the Terminator, and now this guy's making you jump through hoops, isn't he?
Absolutely. Actually, believe it or not, I thought when I did the Terminator that I had probably worked on the toughest film physically that I would ever work on, and then Aliens comes along, and it was much tougher because of all the armor that we wear, and it is so heavy, and these pulse rifles that we carry are so heavy. And when you do, we're crawling through air conditioning vents and over this and under that.
And you're in deep crouches a lot of the time.
Yeah, it was really tough, really tough. And if you do it once or twice, it's okay. But there are rehearsals, and then you do a take and another take and another take, and so you end up doing these things over and over and over and over again.
The apparatus, the effects, the machinery. Everything is so elaborate on this picture that I wish you would take me to the set and tell me just who was giving you orders, who was in charge.
Jim Cameron was giving me orders, and Jim Cameron is in charge. Jim is not only wrote the script of the Terminator. You know, he designed the Terminator. He designed a lot of the hardware in this movie as far as the guns and the wardrobe, and he worked with the aliens themselves, and he's just a very talented man. And
but how can one man continue to keep order out of such a complex system of production?
I can't believe that anybody can even dream up the story that he dreamt up for Aliens, and to have the image and the idea to do this story and all the bits and pieces in it. There are a lot of people involved, and in any picture, it's always in a collaborative effort. But Jim is an amazing director.
How about those moments on the set when those big things are in place? I mean, you're standing around for hours looking at those things.
Yeah.
That give you the creeps after a while?
It's all sort of make-believe.
Those are life-size, so to speak.
There was one point in the movie, and there was one point that I kind of got the creeps, and it's when Hudson, the character of Hudson, is actually at one point has a close encounter of the alien kind, and he kind of gets pulled down. I don't know if you remember that sequence, but I remember
down to the floor.
Yeah, I remember when we shot that. It was like, ooh, that looks pretty nasty.
And those things are dripping. I mean, they were pumping all kinds of viscous fluids through them, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you must have felt after a day's shooting that you'd spent all day literally down in a sewer or something.
Well, after we finished up a day's shooting, we were filthy, and the armor was always pinching us, and there were little cuts and bruises, and it was.
So you hit the showers after a day like that, and what do you do?
Spend another half an hour, getting it all off, and go home and go to bed so you can be up at 6 o'clock the next morning.
Tell us about your relationship with James Cameron. Why have you been in both of his pictures? What about you has he conveyed to you that he likes?
Well, when I came in and met him on a purely average type of meeting for the Terminator. He was seeing people, casting people. I came in, I had the script, my agent gave it to me, I read it, I liked it, I went and I read for him, he liked my reading. And he thought I, personified the character that he imagined, Reese, better than any other actor in town that he saw. And we worked together, we had a great relationship, a give and take sort of relationship.
You must be especially proud of that. It's not that you knew him or knew somebody else, but he liked what he saw, and that was enough.
Well, that's really the way that it usually happens in films.
Sometimes maybe we have the wrong idea. Sometimes we think it's who you know.
Yeah, it isn't really who you know. I mean, who you know can help, as in Aliens. I mean, it's who I know, Jim Cameron, because I got that. I mean, he just called me up and said, listen, we're doing Aliens. But it's because of the relationship that we had on the Terminator. And of course, the Terminator was such a fun picture, and it was a successful picture. And so there was a lot of good feeling between it.
Michael, if you would, take us now as far from Aliens as you can in your own acting career, either on the stage or elsewhere. Let's find a complete contrast to the Michael Biehn we saw on screen. Serving tea in a Chinese play or something.
No, I did theater as a child. When I was 8 and 10 years old, I was Pinocchio in productions like that, and Rags to Riches, and Alice in Wonderland.
We never hear about that side of an actor's development. We all know what it's like to be in the school play, but we don't think to say, well, Michael Biehn must have been in a school play. I
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. A lot of community theater when I was a child.
Uh-huh. Did that help, or was
I think so. I think so. I think it gave me a confidence of knowing that I could do it at a very young age, and it's like playing sports or riding a bicycle. I think once you do it, you know you can at least you can do it well enough that you won't embarrass yourself. And so when I made a jump and went out to Los Angeles, I knew that I was somewhat capable. You know, so I think it helped.
And you're in LA to stay now? This is your
I'd
career?
I'd like to probably live in another spot other than Los Angeles, but at the moment I kind of have to be there because that's where the film industry is.
What's going to be Cameron's future projects, and will he continue now to work with you? Would you like that, or would you prefer to break away to other things? What?
Well, Jim and I have worked in 2 films in 3 years. So I actually feel that Jim will be making films for another 30 years. 40 years.
Wow.
And whatever. I mean, he's 30, another 30 years, and so it wouldn't surprise me if we worked again.
Now, if that happens, would you be the lead?
Would I be the lead?
I'm thinking of Kurt Russell and John Carpenter, for example. Could it become that kind of a thing?
I don't really know what you mean, the lead.
Well, in other words, maybe you might have the role that Sigourney Weaver would have, not as a woman, obviously, but as the main male role. You would be the headliner, you know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not interested in so much in playing the lead or playing like the above the title characters. I am in finding a role that is will make me stretch as an actor, you know, and make me work and do something different.
Anybody who can be on a set and have to imagine all of the effects that you must have been called upon to imagine throughout the shooting must be a heck of an actor. Right? There were times when he's saying, okay, now beyond that next turn or up on the ceiling, you're seeing whatever.
That's true, but I feel that anytime an actor is working in a scene, it's make-believe, and it's you're always concentrating and trying to find the truth. And if I'm doing a scene with you, you're playing a character, and I'm believing you're a character. And to me, it's just as easy to work, not just as easy, but it can be just as easy to work with nothing there and use your own imagination, or with an alien there, as it is to work with another actor. I don't really see the big difference.
Might be the same sometimes.
Sometimes it's easier. You know?
Michael, one last thing. If you were watching this film fresh, or if you can remove yourself from it enough, would it scare you?
Yo, absolutely.
Would this thing get to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And are you
Didn't
making
it scare you?
You bet, but I'm asking you, any predictions about what this is going to do to the American public?
That's all I can say is that if you like The Terminator, you'll like this movie. If you liked Alien, you'll like this movie. If you like both those movies, it's out of this world.
In the battle against the aliens, Michael Biehn.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And from New York City for KCTV5, I'm John Tibbetts.